Good night, and welcome. It's DS, and it's all about DS. All right. So we have two meets in the building. We have the cast man. We have the Marky Mark. We have the Visha in the building as well.
Sandy.
Yeah, we have Sandy that's taking in the vibes, and we must big up the RT5. What do you mean? All right, so we live, we online, we talking about different things, trying to make it a little more diplomatic today.
That's cheeky, literally calling me right now. This is supposed to be interesting.
The Checkmeister, he'll be in the building soon, all right?
So just now open the gate for him because we switched locations. Anyway, Ricolia.
You forgot my name.
Ricolia.
Yes, it's me. Hi, good night.
If you don't know who the voice is, if you hear the uppity convent girl accent, the convent accent, again that look, I didn't start her. Anyway, so talk to us, speak to us, tell us who you are, and what brings you to our neck of the woods.
Thanks, Augustine. Well, good night, everyone. This is Rakulia from RC5, and I was invited to do this podcast. And the topic, the reason why I was invited, the reason why I actually volunteered myself, I should say, was the topic was a very interesting one. It has a lot to do with women and the so-called strong black woman.
Yes, Sandy watching.
And
see Sandy watching.
It's a very it's a very interesting topic because I realized that there's some men who may err against the so-called strong black women, and it's a very interesting perspective that men take. So I'm actually really looking forward to this discussion tonight.
RT5 in the building. So Ricola, tell us something. So yeah. All right, I stand corrected. Okay, Ricola, so tell us, how long have you been doing this RT Top 5? It's a famous thing on YouTube. You have a lot of views, and it's something that's on the way for progress, all right? So tell us, how long have you started doing this RT5?
Well, just under a year. The producer and the quote-unquote everything guy approached me, and he had an idea for a YouTube channel. And it was supposed to start off as a few top fives and social commentary in Trinidad and Tobago, and it sort of just took off from there. It really has snowballed, I should say. It's a really great thing, and we're looking forward to what RT5.
I'm a fan.
We have a few things on the boiler, and RT5 is going to take off in the next few months. So.
I see in the corner there and like not already talking. Are you being overshadowed right now by all of this masculinity? We got next girl to sit down alongside with you. Yeah, that's gonna be quite okay. Say at least one. Say uno word, por favor.
Hello everyone, it's Uno Love. I was told that it would be half and half. That's why I'm quiet. Oh. But hello and good night, everyone.
Okay. Well, the reason I brought you here today is because it's more so last week we were speaking about my reasons why I find it hard to, date a girl of African descent. And since I will consider you the female demographic of that African descension, if you will, I just like to, you have to fight the cause right now. You have to fight the cause. Sandy watching. It could be you. Sandy, it could be you.
So Ricola, could you, as you represent this Tulmizi stereotype.
And I think that's what it is actually, a stereotype.
It's a stereotype, definitely. He just given his personal opinion on.
We reach the point where we go and do the list. Sorry, to cut you off. I have to do the list.
Mm-hmm. No, you don't have to do the list.
I have to do.
No, you don't have to do the list. All right.
The top 5, if you will.
The top 5, RT5.
Getting some inspiration.
And
already.
it's RT. You are also an RT.
I am a RT.
Yeah, so you could do a RT,
I could do a
RT top 5.
Glad to know that I'm a source of inspiration. But,
Look, you inspired me.
uh-huh.
We got split that. Cheeks is in the building, right?
Yeah, good day.
Chickmeister.
Hello, good day, everyone. Hope everyone having a good night. Yeah. So funny what I do.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll get to that in 1 minute. Cheeky was supposed to actually be the anchor this evening. So if you will,
If I will what?
give us your 44 laws of power.
Yeah, well, I really don't know what you're talking about. But tonight, I was supposed to be discussing in my hype stroke segment. I was supposed to be discussing the first agreement, the first of 4, which is to be impeccable with your word. And I think we'll discuss that later. So I want to do that right now.
Well, we are recording here and we have money now about to jump out here.
All right, so we have a full cast, and you know the vibes. It's nice.
Bubbling over.
Right, so you know everybody have the different perspective to drop, all right, to the masses. So we're gonna take this thing step by step, okay? So
I don't feel I need, read my list for me so it doesn't. I need like a female voice stating this.
before we do this list, right, I have some pending issues with our state prosecutors in terms of in the capacity of the police officers, all right? Last week, all right, I was pulled over twice, 2 different days, all right? I mean, we might laugh because it's something funny, socially with your own informal group, but I don't take it funny, I take it personal because my vehicle is not ever radioed on anything for the cause of this type of interaction with the police officers, So I would like to highlight on these things that are taking place with the police officers after, the murder of Mrs. Sita Han, I think they need to do a little bit of reform, because I take it as, the way they approach me, I thought I was a criminal.
Yeah.
I mean,
Guilty.
guilty as charged.
Yeah.
And they point their guns in my face, and I am not someone of a violent nature, all right, as some of you may know. So I take it personal, as and the okay to me is you may be laughing at this, all right, but
I'm not laughing at that. It was the violent nature part. I was just like, all right.
okay, so you think I'm someone of a violent
You
nature?
are the Dalai Lama.
Okay,
If you get the sarcasm in my class.
okay, no problem. That's your opinion.
My
That's
only-
your perspective.
My only thing about that, what just happened is, in the car, when you got pulled over the second time, we won't get to why I was pulled over on the third time. But
There is a third time?
In one week.
In one day, there was the 3 times. Remember,
Wow.
we was now coming back from, right?
Yeah.
We were pulled over. I thought I was safe under the guise that my hair is short and it's not looking really nappy. So I was like, I could pass by Indian today. My sister-in-law, which would be Uno, and my brother in the backseat, they were not spoken to at all.
At all. This is my thing. Okay. Police, pull over. All right. And then you put your hands out the window. All right. I followed the instructions. I put my hand out the window. All right.
By then you already knew the drill.
Okay. I already know the drill
Second
because
time.
this is the second time I've been
Yeah,
pulled
you
over.
knew the drill.
So I know the drill. Okay.
We knew it. We know the law.
Okay, so I pull over and I proceeded to put my hands out the window, and the police officer, right? He came, no identification. I don't care if you guys have on uniform, because at the end of the day,
The second time
the
you in a
people
bad car,
people
what
could
you
get
say?
uniforms
Mm.
and do whatever this guy says they
Yeah.
feel like. All right.
Mm.
So you pull me over, and I put my hands on the window. You came and shut off my vehicle. All right.
Wait,
And
what?
then,
Yeah.
yes, they do that. They did that for themselves
They came in and
because
put
my
their
hands
hand-
was out the window,
Oh,
and they came, they shut off my vehicle.
so they put their hands in their vehicle.
Yes, they put my hands into my vehicle,
Oh,
right,
wow.
with a gun in my face.
At all this time I was thinking, Casman, you again, usual suspect.
I
Like
mean,
Naras,
yes, I'm not a rasta,
They can't
right?
do that illegal.
Okay, so even though I may probably
and that was a
fit,
joke if you didn't catch it.
I fit the stereotype to whatever capacity, all right. If there's no suspicion about the vehicle or the license plate in which I drive, I don't see the need for you guys to pull me over because I know you guys have one transmitter, all right. So if you radio, right, the other police officers are going to hear what you're going to say, all right. So I proceeded to put my hands on the window. You shut off the vehicle, all right, and you asked me and Tulmizi, and there is a couple in our back seat.
The windows were
Alright,
up.
the
so we
window-
couldn't put our hands up.
The windows was up.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a couple in our back seat that, you know, what even ask a question. What is taking place here?
Oh, no, they were holding hands and kumbaya and all that.
Yeah, like what is taking place here? What is really going on in this country? I need to because you pull a car over, okay, no problem. Then the least they could do is pull everyone over or search
hold-
everyone
hold
or hold
everyone.
everyone.
But
Yes,
it's,
yes. 3 cause.
It's
You
when he
understand?
turned to the side and he see both of us in the back. Then he was like, "Oh, okay, all right, hit vehicle, they're all right."
So thank God for my you know for my Indo counterparts. You understand? For my Indo counterparts that I wasn't searched the raggedy way. Right? I wasn't.
Thank you for the Indians.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you,
Thank
thank
you for
you.
the Indians.
I appreciate that.
You're
I
welcome.
mean, this is not a podcast to bash anybody, as we always explain. All right, this is just to express how you feel and your views and your perspectives on things that are taking
I
place.
was even more distraught if you want to be talking about that after. But you'll get to that part after.
No problem, no problem, no
Yeah, so
problem.
that was all I know is
But-
Boutilies.
What I understand from what you're saying?
Boutilies.
What I get from this whole point is that basically the police service right now in a reactionary kind of knee-jerk measure to the killing of Miss Sita Hall. I don't know if it is. I see now increase amount of cars on the road
The
and
presence,
Yeah,
the
that's
the
presence,
presence,
yes,
the presence has
definitely,
increased, right?
definitely.
But to
And that
me,
is the presence we need at all times.
no, yeah, that's what we need at all times. But you see, harassing constructive people, anybody in general, harassing anyone for this cause really doesn't make much sense to be. Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense now. You understand? So if it is you want to have a measure in place, try to have some structure to the police service, right? And government.
All right.
All right.
So let me
Okay,
hear.
so now it's list time.
Is this time?
Is list time? Is list
Should I
time?
say all or just the top five?
Just the top 5. No, I think I'm short order.
I think you should have a RT5, seeing that
Let her go,
the
yeah,
official,
No,
In your
say
voice.
it with the uppity convent accent.
She doesn't
The
go
convent?
for it,
There is no
Convent
uppity
accent?
Convent
Uppity.
accent.
She's
This is how I
convent?
speak.
She speaks
This
well.
is
Convent?
how I
She speaks so well.
She speaks well.
She speaks so well.
She doesn't speak confident, which isn't well. Anyway.
So
Cheeky.
No, I say convent isn't well. You speak well.
Thank you.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Two
Thank
Sound
you.
like sarcasm, I
Two
don't know.
easy top 5 reasons why.
I wish you had the top
I find
five
it
song
difficult
theme
to
music.
be. Wait, I wish you had bring it.
Yeah.
Just beat it. I want us to beat it.
Right.
Anyway.
So very cool, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What you gonna say? Yeah. Say it.
Uno is going to call the top
Reasons
five.
why Tulmizi does not like African girls.
Whoa, I didn't put it down.
Yes, you did. Number one, they are too aggressive.
Huh. Okay.
What does he mean by
What do you
aggressive?
mean by aggressive?
Well,
As
clearly-
in, we see you coming down the road and we want to start, bashing on you like a monkey in the jungle. What do you mean?
I didn't say monkey.
Gorilla.
I didn't say monkey. What?
Bruno Mars.
No, but you need to be. You're trying to pick something out. So
I mean-
you're trying to
Yeah.
reaching a bit. But what do you mean by aggressive, first of all?
Aggressive, like just be a little bit,
A
Am
little
I
bit. No,
aggressive?
people can't see your hands right now, right?
a little more docile, yeah.
Too easy.
Follow me like a nice little suitable distance, comfortable distance behind me, like a
So,
Japanese thing.
so you want a subservient woman? Is that what you're trying to
Do
say?
you consider being docile as subservient?
It's very related because what he said, the key thing he said there is he wants like a Japanese woman, and I can get onto the Japanese woman and Japanese men and what they are attracted to, but he wants someone to walk behind him and just be docile. Isn't that what you said?
No, not
just
behind.
now?
I said just act like, just act,
Nah, but
Right.
have that mentality.
I
Which
think
brings me to the next
being
point. You
objective,
want
you
to,
did
like,
say behind you at
you
a
want-
suitable
At a
distance.
suitable
Too easy.
right.
You understand? So stand by what you say.
Okay, I stand by.
Thank you. So you want to
Okay.
stand by what you said. So
Alright.
yes, I will associate that with being subservient. So
That's the
you
aggression
are-
we talking
That's
about.
the aggression, that's the aggression.
No.
No.
It's not a matter of
She-
being
Yeah, no.
aggressive.
She's putting that across her point. She's putting that across her point.
So are you trying to tell me then, because I have an opinion and it
Mm.
differs from what you say, I am aggressive? Because
Sandy, you didn't understand.
Because no, that's why I'm asking you to be clear on what you mean by aggressive. Because aggressive can mean, as I said, you're walking down the streets and I just triple.
Okay.
Am I allowed to curse, by
can
the
I-
way? Like
yes,
just go
you can.
batshit crazy and just start wailing on you? Or does it mean that I have to agree with any and everything you say and do any and everything you say?
Okay, I'll explain to you what I mean by
Thank
aggressive.
you.
So I was in a little Seoul party, big up to the limits, before they're listening. Whoop, whoop.
Fists, by the way, but okay. By the way, yeah, it's an insight.
That is on Milner.
Yeah, it's a
Milner,
Milner.
okay.
Milner, it's
Yeah.
I was
to
at
the
a
yard.
party. I don't want to call names. Let's say young JD is there standing up talking to Damian Morin's girlfriend at the point in time. And when they was talking, I was thinking, that was before they was together, I believe. And then a friend came, she was literally like, oh, we going over here, come. So Damian, my friend says, no, don't worry, she's safe with me. So then the aggressiveness came up. What do you mean he's safe? You Superman or? And then I said, you see why I don't like black girls? She was like, who the hell is you? Why does she have up? You call him? You small black, call him like that? Yeah? Like, no, excuse me, pause on the thing. And then I was just thinking, case in point, aggression. Like, honestly, like all that unnecessary.
Okay, so are you trying to say that this female in question is...
I can't judge a whole by...
That's all she was going to ask. Are you trying to say that because this...
No, because
one
her friend-
individual,
her friend
this
came
one
out,
individual...
her friend came out,
Right.
literally,
Mhm.
and said, so, what's your problem with black girls? I said, no, it's not that. It's just that, my experiences with them was, I said, well, probably you are the problem. So then I thought about
That was
it.
actually my other question I was going to ask.
Then I thought about
Not
it.
not
I mean, we
justifying.
unraveling this
I
whole
am
thing
not-
without
no.
getting to the top five. Like, we
And
just
I am
have
not
one.
ju-
Go into this stuff.
Like,
I am not justifying the friends,
Mhm.
random bitch fits, if you will. But maybe, sometimes if it is something you're experiencing on a regular basis, did you ever think maybe it's some way that you approach females as well?
No, but I don't get it from the Indian girls or the white girls.
Yes, you do. You get it from me too. So
But
Yeah.
I know, but we already distinguish. We don't say,
Okay.
I don't consider.
yes, but I'm
I
just
don't
saying.
consider.
No, the thing is though, you're trying to make it seem as if it's a race thing. So all women of African descent, are aggressive, but she's not. So if it's a matter of, okay, well, maybe she's not, based on a cultural reason, then your theory is a bit flawed already.
Okay.
yeah, that's a flawed point. Number two.
Number two.
Number 2, they are always checking for what you have and what you can do for them.
I
This is a fun point, actually. This is why when I saw the list, I
Check it.
smiled.
I don't consider. Just remember.
Mhm.
High color. I thought high color.
Okay, so now you're trying to say that now we're
Because
trying now
I talk
okay.
I talk on full. I talk on. I don't want to.
Uh-huh.
I talk
Yeah,
about-
be very
I talk
clear
about
now.
Full guys are slim, smallies. I'm not talking about like any other. I'm talking about specific.
Okay, so now we're talking about a particular sect within the African race. Is that what you're talking about?
Guys are slim.
So which actually
Guys are
which
slim.
actually is very different to the original point that you made, that all African women, all women of African descent are aggressive too aggressive, and all of your other points.
Yeah.
So now I can agree with you to a certain extent about this particular sect in that, and that's a whole other podcast, I think.
Okay.
However,
My reasoning for that one. I'm giving you.
sure. So you want me to give my
No, keep going. However,
right? The point I was trying to make is that you can't go from saying all black women or all women of African descent to then trying to say, well, a particular um, ratchetness, particular ratchet type of woman. All right? Because if it is you want to go down the ratchet path, there are actually women of other races who are plain out ratchets as well. For example, trailer trash, and they are women of white descent. You have the Latinas. They're all different types. It's not a race thing. All right? There are women who are too aggressive and too angry for no reason. We don't know if it's a matter of what's going on at home with them or whatever past experiences they would have. But if it is you saying that we as women, we are always looking for you and trying to find what it is you have, yes and no, right? Yes, there are women whose sole purpose is to find out, all right, what are you driving? Where are you working? Who are you affiliated with? What are your circles? Because she wants to be a part of that.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for this opportunity for me to add to this discussion that is taking place now.
Please do.
All right. No.
Because I really want to sort of
no, because I think we taking
diffuse
this.
any sort of stereotypes clearly that there are out there.
This is what the S is about. We're trying to get the different perspectives so we can make our intellectual contributions. All right. Now, I think we're getting a little over the top with women of Afro descent. Okay. Now, the thing I think Tulmizi is emphasizing on is the fact that, his personal experiences, right, with respect to women of African descent on a whole, right? So we trying to get the distinction between the two, all right?
No, you see, the key thing you said there is his own personal experience, and nothing is wrong with that. But you cannot put a label based on personal experience on an entire race.
I agree.
Because I have experiences as well based on past relationships, past interactions, but I cannot let that determine my interactions with people after the fact. I've dealt with racist people in Trinidad, but I have one best friend who is Indian. I am not going to say that all Indian people are racist. I've dealt with assholes in the past who are both Indian and of African descent. I am not going to say that, well, all African men or all Indian men or all whatever sort of men are assholes, whatever the case may be. Now, the reason why I was really interested in being a part of this podcast is because I've come to realize that, as I said, when it is women have an opinion, and because they may not agree with you or they're actually saying no to what it is you're saying, you come across as aggressive. All right.
Okay.
Then this is sure, go ahead.
Okay, all right. Sorry to interject, but I see the need and I see the necessity to do such. All right. Now, what I want to say is that everyone has their own personal experiences as they go through the course of life. All right. And if your concentration of people that you have interactions with, it so happens to be one of an Afro descent, right? Then, in all fairness, you could give an opinion.
Correct.
But at the same time, do not make it a generalized statement. Do not make it a hypothesis, all right?
Because what he is really trying to say, well, what I'm guessing from you is that you're saying that some of the listing or the items on your list are innate to women of African descent, when in fact, there are women of other races who are always looking for men to see what it is they have in their pockets. All right?
I can do my example.
Sure, you give an example.
The example for that one is big up to my homie D right now. Is that you know what I'm talking about? So yeah, he come with a line with two girls, whatever. So they literally said, and I quote, well, no, it's like, what we buying? I say, well, I bring in hard wine. Because that's on our hard wine, but you say, nah, we does only drink John. So
females?
Two females. We does only drink Johnny.
And I'll agree. The thing is, as a female, I know that my reaction would have been, well, you could bring you and Johnny. Because at the end of the day, if you want something to drink, you bring it. I am not saying, I don't believe as a female, especially if it is you're working, if it is you have any kind of anything, if you want to drink something, you bring it. Why should the female have to be reliant on the man for that? We are in a time, I don't know if anybody is sure of it, but it's 2014, right? Not 1955.
Okay.
No, but
So-
it's usually.
It's not usually.
It's usually.
It's not usually. Yes, as I said, there are women who you go out to dinner and you get to the end of dinner, drinks, dessert, the bill comes and she's looking at you and she's looking to see you pull out your wallet.
Okay,
Alright.
Ricola.
Mhm.
I want to ask a question. Can I?
Sure.
Okay. Is all those, views or opinions you have, is it something of personal nature, or is it that's how you think the generalized masses should feel about?
Repeat that last part. You think general what?
Okay, do you think that your views,
Mhm.
is it opinions you are stating, or views, or is it something that you think should be, generalized by the society in which we live?
Everything that we do, all of our interactions are based on personal opinions and experiences. That is just how we operate. But I don't think it's right for someone to generalize based on a personal opinion about an entire race.
I agree.
All right?
Mhm.
Because the same examples he keeps giving to me, I have seen women like that and have interacted with women like that. But on the other hand, and I'm one of them as well, I am not one of those type of women. So it's very insulting to an extent, not to an extent, it is insulting to hear that, well, I don't want to be around any sort of women of African descent, or I won't date a woman of African descent because X, Y, and Z. When in fact, that's not how we all are. So whatever hang-ups you may have, whatever, yeah,
We
go
go
ahead.
to tree. All I have to say is,
Sure.
it's not when date when you know, but I find it very difficult to date.
So what happens if it is you meet a woman of, let's say, she's mixed with Spanish and Indian and white, and she possesses all of those qualities?
It has
It-
never
it-
happened.
it-
It has never.
I think
Because
he's
it hasn't
emphasizing.
happened to you
It
doesn't
has
mean
ne-
that she
it
does
has
not
never happened
exist
in history of happening. It doesn't. I don't
in
know
your
some-
world. In your world.
in
And as I heard you earlier say, we are all intellects, and as an intellect, you should know that you need to get out of your own world.
Correct.
See,
Correct.
No.
Right.
As
So
an intellect, I believe that all the points so far have been very weak, and I'm looking forward to the next three to see if there's any kind of because these points don't make sense, tool man. I don't understand where I don't see where you're coming from. Waiting to hear the next.
I agree with
Yeah.
Chickmeister. I
Yeah.
agree with you.
Okay, well, number 3 is they are too materialistic, which is kind of like number 2.
Oh no, sorry, that's supposed to be 2 points.
So
but they don't let
I
you do it
think
with
I'll go
those
to
phones.
4.
They don't let you do it with those phones. So yeah,
Okay, so number 4, which is really number 3, is they are way too fertile.
Let's go to number 5.
I think it should call all the rest, and we have.
Okay, I was never that
There
great
is no
at
defense.
I was never great at biology, but I think that is something that is innate in all women. I could be wrong.
Well,
but-
I was going to say the same thing, Ricola. Thank you very much. All right, so can we please call all the rest so that we could
Number 5.
have a good conversation, a good
Okay.
discussion?
Number 5, they think they are God's gift to Earth.
really want to address that one directly. Okay.
Okay, like someone has a
I
personal
wanna-
offense.
No, it's not a
You are
personal
going to
offense.
offense.
No.
Sorry.
No. I said I want to address that one directly, not because it's a personal thing, but there are lots of men who think that they're God's gift to women. All right? There are lots of women, and I'm going to quote something like a really good friend of mine said. There are a lot of men who walk around and act and interact with women and act as if our vaginas are your own personal receptacle. All right? In other words,
Going to recreational ground.
in other words,
Own recreational
In other
ground.
words-
Recreational ground.
in other words, a lot of men act as if you are just there to fulfill a need, whether it's sex, whether it is to take care of them, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
All right, and then you have those who they dress a particular way, you know, they're very well dressed. Nothing's wrong with that, but they dress really well, you know, they're popular with the ladies, and then you kind of get this impression that because you are not, I don't know, dripping in ecstasy over them, then you get this label that, I don't know, you buy, you're lesbian, you know, something is wrong with you because you're just not buying into the hype. So there are a lot of men who believe that they are God's gift, not to the earth, but to women. All right. So some of your points that you're kind of bringing up here, some of the things on the list, is not necessarily.
I'm not going to know which man.
Mm-hmm.
Which man? Name one type of man that put like not one type, but like.
I'm not gonna say. I'm
name
not
your
gonna
top five.
say.
Name your top five,
I'm
if you
not,
will.
we want to go in that direction.
No.
It's not a matter. It's not a matter of, you know, there's groups of men who think that way. It's just, you know, there's some men, whether doesn't matter their race, doesn't matter, doesn't really matter. Some of them just think that, you know, they are God's gift to women, and if it is you don't buy into their hype, then fuck away with you.
Yeah.
You said I could curse, so I'm just trying to drive home the point.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And the thing is, I have interacted with men like that, you know, from all different demographics, from all different, you know, walks of life. Just the other day, I'll give you an example. You want to use an example. I was walking down Marlborough Road, and I crossed the road just before a particular bar. Not because I was intimidated in any kind of way, or, you know, I didn't want anyone to tell me anything, whatever the case may be, but because I saw my girlfriend on that side of the road. So in my own world, you know, doing what I have to do, I crossed the road just before I got to the bar. And one of the guys was starting to call out to me and was saying, you know, Reds, family, you know, you shouldn't be intimidated, and that, you know, men like me intimidate you, you know, you could pass by if you want to, you know. And it was a bit, I've gone beyond even taking on these tossy men in them. So it's just like, I pretend it does not exist. But that particular point in time, I was like, are you effing kidding me? You still think that, you know, I am so intimidated by you, and I am so thrown off by you that I feel the need to cross the street to avoid you. That's what I'm trying to get at, where some men think that they are God's gift to women. I am not intimidated by men.
Okay, Ricola.
I want to hear what she told him.
No, I was going to ask her if that is the exact way he spoke to you.
Yes,
are you paraphrasing, or are you just
exactly that? You
speaking in a
family, right? And that's another thing in terms of tying into my point about men being, you know, or thinking that they're God's gift to women. We are not family. I am not.
Yes, we are. We are all one.
We're not family.
So you shouldn't talk about your sisters.
So if we were family, then why are you calling out to me as if
sisters.
you want to bed me if we are family?
If I want to bed you, that's a very weird way of saying it. Could you see how it's supposed to sound like? That's what I'm
All
saying.
right, so if it is you want me to be as blunt as possible, if we are all family, then why are you acting?
Okay.
My response to him, as I said earlier, was that I pretended, and I have a mechanism when it comes to certain things.
All women.
It's not a defense mechanism. It's just you do not exist
I never said anything about defense. I never said anything about defense.
People like that do not exist in my world. So I heard it because I had on my headset. I heard it and I pretended it did not exist because it didn't. Because you were not referring to me.
You use the benefits of the headset to get your way through.
There are many times when I don't have a headset in my ears and men are calling out, men are trying to family, right, X, Y, and Z.
No, so
and I
what
continue
is the
along.
that I should see to get attention. It's like, yeah, mom, what's up, mommy? I don't know.
Are we in Miami?
That's the lamest thing I've ever heard in a long
What's up,
time.
mommy?
That's like the lamest. That's the Are you saying this live?
Are we in Brooklyn?
Are you saying this
I
live?
want to know what do you want to hear? What do you want to hear from a random construction worker? Let me say on what.
Well, if it is a simple good morning would suffice.
And
All right,
and
then no, and then it's not just a matter of good morning, Reds, you're looking real best, you know, I want to get inside them pants. I mean, if it is you continue along that trail, then I ignore it.
So how is it get inside pants?
Well, the fact alone that your first motivation is to get inside the pants, then it will. I'm saying not you. I'm saying you as in this hypothetical male. All right. If it is that your first thing is that you want to get inside the pants, your thirst would come across very strongly.
Okay, you hear that directly? Drink Sprite. Drink Sprite. Obey your taste. Drink Sprite.
To the next point.
RT. Oh gosh. Yes, I have a
Number
time machine.
6, they are not humble.
Well, as he said,
That's a human thing. That's a very human thing. There are lots of people who are humble, both men and women, and then there are lots of people who are just like, yeah, I'm just doing me. I am me. So I don't see how in any way how that is a female thing and a black thing, a woman thing.
Well, what they definitely do is just read you one about the hair and then we could cut out.
Let's hear about the one with the hair.
Okay, I think we get a little out. We get a little emotional here,
I'm
and we
not
just need to
emotional
give.
actually.
We just need to
I
give a
think-
little perspective as to what you think, right? I think Tulmizi has the lamest points, but even though we had the lamest points, we're gonna still emphasize on what we think about his thing, right?
They love to be okay. Basically, they love to be minded and never foots the bill. They are all opinionated. Oh, sorry, over opinionated.
Over opinion.
And they love to loud up or make out a scene in public. Make out in the bedroom. That's all I see. Oh,
No.
you care about scene? I will take that.
No,
in
okay,
court.
okay,
I
I'm
will make
gonna.
out in front of my 20 partners.
So what about men who do that as well? I've seen that happen. I have seen that
So
happen.
who is happening with? Who is happening with?
His girlfriend.
So
They had
Okay,
a,
so
no, they had
you
a,
are
they had
you are
a,
about to give us a personal experience in which
it's
you
not
have
an
witnessed,
experience,
or
it's an
okay,
observation. I've seen it happen. There's a
observation.
difference. Yeah.
Okay.
I have seen, I saw a man louding up his girlfriend, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And well, she was, they were both reciprocating, going back and forth, but
Mm-hmm.
it just continued and escalated. And he grabbed her very aggressively and kind of dragged her through the mall.
Drag her?
Yes, he did.
Okay, drag is a physical.
Okay, if it is we want to go down the road of race,
No, I never said I said what kind of girl.
What do you mean?
Like a skin girl.
what does that have to
Gonna
do?
be a fat girl.
I
mean, the
I
drag
don't see
alone.
the relevance. I really don't see the relevance. The point is that the loud up scene that you're trying to talk about, it's not a race thing again.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Oh, wait, no.
people.
Big up the Johnny English. He say here and get through. I'm gonna read you come across to this. What is this? CGT, UGT.
Yeah, you get through. You
Yeah,
get
yeah.
through. You get through. RT5. RT5. All right. So.
So the okay,
Mhm,
all
go
of the
ahead.
points that you're trying to list out. All right, what I'm trying to get at is you cannot generalize, and it's something that I realize with some men. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying anyone here. I'm just saying something that I have noticed. And yes, if you want to go on personal experience, there are some men who I think are intimidated by some women. I'm not saying all women.
I think
And I'm
men.
going to say that
Mhm.
because there are some men who cannot handle a woman being opinionated. I don't mean like necessarily over opinionated or anything like that. They cannot handle that. All right? They cannot handle a woman who is saying, hey, let me get the bill. Sometimes there's certain aspects of women that sort of break a patriarchal view on how things are supposed to be.
They
And
don't
when
break
women
it.
break that, it sort of does a little something.
They
to the
don't
ego.
break that process. They empower the matriarchal process. Okay, they don't break it, but
I
they
say they
tend to
break it.
meet.
I say they
Yeah.
break it because for a very long time this is technically this whole independent women
Yes, the
wave
China.
that we are on. It's a relatively new one.
Yes,
Throughout
China.
history, it's
Because-
always been everything has always been
Yes,
patriarchal.
No, because as time progresses,
Mhm.
okay, responsibilities tend to be,
the thing is, matriarchal kind of connotes something else.
okay, as time progresses, we see a lot of changes in the family value system,
Right.
all right, and we try to, okay, a lot of single parent families, is predominantly women, all right, as being the breadwinner, all right, and we
That's
try
not a new. That's not a new concept, though.
it's not a concept,
Well, I'm gonna say concept. It's not a new way of life. The matriarch, being the matriarch in the
no,
family.
it's empowering women on a whole, all right. Tulmizi was just giving his personal experience, right, and which I didn't really care about because
Listen,
everyone has experiences.
For the record, this is why I'm not saying you shouldn't go on data. Rep did that, so hopefully you won't have to go through that.
No, it's not a matter of
That's
that
all I'm
though.
saying.
But by you going on this bit of a rant about all African women, you're sort of painting a very negative view.
Okay,
of
but
us.
I am saying
So let's say if anyone was listening to this podcast, and let's say I was not here, and you went on a rant by yourself talking about, well, black women this and black women that and X, Y, and Z. you're painting a sort of picture, well, that all black women are like that. So if anybody, let's say someone was in, I don't know, Sweden listening to this podcast, the first thing they'll think is, okay, I am gonna say very far away from any black women in Trinidad because they will go ape shit crazy on me. Let me stick with the Indians and the local whites and the Spanish and the this and the that. So it is a bit insulting.
Okay,
I thought things need to
as
be
much
diffused.
this is a very sensitive topic.
Mhm.
I know we have emphasized a lot of time behind this, but it's important, so we must speak about it. All right. So what I'm saying is that Tulmizi said something, and we went on to a broader spectrum than we expected. Okay, so we must emphasize. Now, he said those list, he called a list of criteria, will I say, all right? And, I see that the defense mechanism automatically took place. It wasn't an instant perspective. It was an instant defense. So I am just highlighting on the fact that it don't need to be an instant defense mechanism, but it needs to be.
It sort of does, because it's a very broad and a very negative, broad view of black women. Because, okay, a perfect example with this whole, basically, he said they're always looking to see what the man has in the pocket and that sort of thing. In other words, he's trying to say that we're gold diggers. All right?
Yes, correct.
Now,
I'm not saying you have gold digger, but you just do mess with our bro.
okay, so let me ask you this. The thing is, you're saying it's a defense mechanism, right? And the reason why, if for the sake of the argument, you're saying that I am being defensive or I have a particular defense mechanism, it's because a lot of what it is you're trying to say can easily be countered. All right?
Okay.
And a lot of, sorry.
On our sushi date, if you will. Who gonna pay for the dinner?
You asking that?
Who paid for the
Are you asking that?
Well, if it is, okay, since you want to bring that up, all right? You asked, I said, can't afford. You said, don't study that. I thought that answered the question.
That's the best
Don't
answer,
study
Ricola.
that. Pips.
I
You money
respect you.
man. You money man.
No, because he wants to bring it. He wants to sort of bring it up to sort of throw something in my face, and I guess to sort of not to throw it in my face, but to sort of shut me down. But I just need to put something in its perspective. Usually, when it says I go out. Once if money is flowing, if money is fine, I could, put up, I can contribute, I can take care of myself, fine. Once I know money is running low on my part, that time of the month, coming out towards the end of the month, just before salary, whatever the case may be, I usually preface it with that. Listen, money's a bit tight, I still have to eat X, Y, and Z. If it is a situation where, like you said, don't study it, okay. If it's a matter of, all right, well, sorry, you can't swing you or anything like that, it's fine. I am quite understanding relaxing at home. I am not the kind of person that will run down a line and try to have people pay for me the entire time. In fact, I actually like myself. I hate having to rely on people. So your point again is what? By the way, your type of woman is what? Independent? African right there. You guys can't see this, but the hair is very, very kinky right now.
It's
so
lovely.
I'm still
Ricola,
trying to see the
I give you a round of applause. I give you a round of applause, Ricola. Right? Okay, seeing that you use the one that sat and think about a list to produce to the masses
of that shitty list,
of that filth
Just make that clear.
of that filth.
So let me ask you a question now. Let's say that you do meet a woman of African descent and she has none of those qualities that
She
you
would
are
most
talking
likely have a French accent, be like 6 foot tall, very, very nappy hair, and I watch it like yes. She'd be like sandy complexion, sandy had that kind of smooth blackness.
Yes.
That smooth darkness.
Yeah.
I kind of like I just want to put that spoon in her hand.
It's very unfortunate that you have to the way how you view other people, especially women, has to be in these very weird categories and these very weird stereotypes, and it's very unfortunate, in my opinion, for someone who is supposed to be intellectual. You're supposed to have an
Ricola,
open mind about
I
these
never,
things.
I never claimed to be.
No, because you're saying that the only time you would ever see yourself falling in love with a black woman is because she's French.
Yeah.
It's because, so in other words, you're saying that there are no women in Trinidad. Not saying you have to be in love with a woman from Trinidad. If it is your life carries you to France, great. But you're trying to say that there are no black women who are independent, strong-minded, smart. And when I say smart, I don't mean having a degree, because having a degree these days is not all. Intellectual. You're saying that she does not exist in Trinidad. And that's unfortunate because you're closing off yourself. So, and then the other point I was trying to make, I didn't get a chance to make, was that you were discussing women who are always studying what's in the man's pocket. There's actually a sect of white women in the U.S. who refer to themselves as sugar babies, because all they do,
There's our website.
all
as
they
well.
do. Thank you for validating
Yeah.
my point, Chike. All they do is they look for men of high stature. You know, these are business owners, you know, investors, people who have money. And their sole purpose is to date these men of money and see what it is they can provide for them. It's actually a service. And most of these women are white. So again, I'm trying to get the point I'm trying to drive home, and I've been trying to drive home, is how is this a trait of black women only? Rhett? How is this a trait of black
Because
women
we
only?
put it this
How do
way.
you explain those, these sugar babies?
Tell me when like a proper gold digger does it, like a red, like a.
Oh, there's okay. Is there
So there is
is there
a
is there
proper and a
criteria?
improper.
Anyway, when a proper gold digger does it,
A
she's
proper
get a
gold digger.
house,
Mhm.
she's get car. When like Arachi does it, she's got a box of KFC, her nails done and her hair did now. None about the kids, nothing about that. If you go gold dig, do it properly. Like when we friend with the Spanish accent, just do it.
There were so many things wrong with that
Um,
response. I don't even know where to start with that.
we in the studio right now do not know how to respond to Tool Missy.
I don't
Everyone
even
is at a
know
loss
how
for
to-
words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too many things to discuss in that point there. Too many things to unravel. Is a mystery.
I don't mind. I don't mind. They tell them make your money that way. Make your money that way.
So wait, how is it?
Have a goal.
How is it?
A box of KFC shouldn't be a
How?
outlet.
So you're trying to say as well that only white women we're actually making it okay to be a gold digger, to
Very good
covet after a man's stuff because, you know, well, I'm pretty and I have tits and ass.
You
But
know
when
you defeated your own point, right?
because
You know you
even
done
if
fucked up, right?
because
You know
even
you done
if
fucked up,
even
right?
if you're saying that, you know, there's a
Yeah.
proper way to do it, you will never respect that woman, because at the end of the day, she wants what's in your pocket and what you're driving.
And
You
only
could
black
never
girl wanted
respect a
some
woman
KFC.
like that.
You understand? So if it is she just wants some KFC, that's not too
Alright.
bad, right?
Then that's a charitable cause. Then, you know,
I
you
would
just
respect
provided
woman,
dinner
but
for that
I wouldn't be
woman.
with that woman.
But you'll be the one who want the house.
No, I don't want. I would respect the same woman who should have known her man pocket, you know, but that wouldn't be my girl. And I was saying I would go after her. I was
No,
saying I
but
could understand if you go and gold digger man, have a gold.
Okay.
Not gold.
Gold.
but you just
Okay.
said, you know, she's not messing with you. Basically quoted a Kanye lyric, all right? And you're saying there are women who, and you can't stand to be around girls like that. It's not like they are caring about you; they care about what's in your pocket. You just said that was a negative trait or something that's a turn off to you. So how is it all of a sudden justified when a white woman does it? Oh, it's because, well, at least she's getting a house out of it.
Okay. I think we getting too sensitive here,
Not
and
a
we
matter
need to
about
move
being-
on. We need to
Now,
move
let me
on
just
with
make this
the.
clear. It's not a matter about being sensitive. It's a matter about, you know, as I was saying earlier, and I said it a few times as well, based on this conversation already, I'm seeing that there are a lot of negative views or opinions of women. And we're going to be deeper now with regards to black women. But the unfortunate thing is, because there's certain, I'm not saying that all women are perfect. I'll be the first one to tell you that. All of those things that you would have highlighted on your list, I know women like that. Whether, well, I've interacted with them or just known of them.
Of
I am
different
not
ethnicities.
of
Yeah.
different ethnicities.
Yeah.
But it's highly inappropriate for you to generalize and say it's a particular race, first of all. And then you sort of contradicting yourself by saying it's okay to do it once, you know, it's this. If it is USA, if it is at the bottom, at the end of the day, you're trying to find a right, you know, a right girl to date. it's okay to date her if she's trying to get a house out of me, but it's wrong if it is she's trying to just get a box of KFC out of me.
No, all I
I don't.
say-
I'm trying.
what
I'm still trying to
tell you,
make.
what I'm trying to
I
tell
We
don't
need to wrap this up
understand.
in
No,
conclusion.
in conclusion, I want to link this. I want to link this whole thing to the next thing, which would be the elevator situation. That's what I was trying to get to.
Please, let's get to this.
The elevator situation. We all read the article that I gave, the 5-page article. Why do you think everybody have to put coin in right now? Why do you think that she attacked Mr. Jiggerman in that elevator?
I have to actually answer that question with a question. Why is that any of your business?
It is because it made TMZ and made my feed.
Now, don't get me wrong. Admittedly, because it's human, we saw something that was out of the blue. It came from left field, especially from, Solange in question. She doesn't seem like that kind of person to, jump out her body and, attack people. So yes, everyone, including myself, was surprised when the video came. I was like, okay, what the hell happened? However, I've been paying attention to social media and I've been noticing and observing that people are making all these assumptions about what happened, including, well, clearly Jay-Z hit Beyonce. I don't understand where that comes out from.
Nah.
You see, and
I've seen, well, Beyonce should
was your guess?
divorce.
Was that your guess?
It's not a guess. It's
No.
it's other people's
Okay,
guesses.
I just want to know, what would your assume? If you had to assume, because I have the 100% surety I have.
Because,
You
ladies
find
and
out.
gentlemen, Rat was at the Met Gala last week.
Yeah, I get a visa.
yeah. Anyhow.
I never bothered to come up with a theory why, because at the end of the day, it's not important to me. As they have said, and I agree with them before their joint statement came out. At the end of the day, it was a family dispute that unfortunately was leaked to the public. All right.
Okay. Well,
everybody has family disputes. Let them work out their stuff.
Yes,
Just
I think so.
because they're a high-profile couple, it doesn't matter whether it is Jay-Z said something about her dress.
No.
Doesn't matter if Jay-Z was supposedly flirting with someone else. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it was a family dispute, and anybody else who's acting as if they are entitled to know what happened in the elevator is damn out of time. And that's just my 2 cents.
Yes, it is. And this episode was a bit it got a bit sensitive as to where opinions are based, and we need.
I'm not sensitive. I'm
No, I'm not
opinionated.
saying you are.
But
I'm
I
not
don't
saying
think
you
Red
are.
would like an opinionated black
No,
woman.
but what I'm
so-
saying.
To me,
I'm kidding.
you're not black, so it doesn't matter.
Just because I may be fairer than others doesn't negate the fact that
Southern-
I am of
Southern
African
African.
descent. My birth paper, or
Okay.
wherever it is they have it, says African, and I identify as being of
Okay,
African
okay.
descent.
What I'm saying is that this list that Toolmazy made, all right, is of the pinnacle of filth, all right, I must say. And you came and you brought it to the masses. You highlighted in how it is that way, all right, and I appreciate that. Okay, now this elevator situation does not affect our lives negatively or positively, so we shouldn't
Neither here
even
nor
comment on what took place. All right, people will be kissing on elevators on a daily basis. So what it is,
And then some.
okay, and what it is, right?
Giggity.
that trigger us.
Giggity. Yeah.
Giggity goo.
You understand what trigger us off to talk about that couple? What? Why? Because they have a high profile? I don't think so.
It's something that I was discussing with a friend of mine this morning. I think what triggered it is the fact that, yes, they are a high profile couple. However, it's ironic because they are high profile. However, they're very private. There are a lot of things that we do not know about them. They are 2 hugely international, huge artists, right? And whatever it is we know about them is what they allow us to know.
So it's like, yes.
They give us snippets of their life, all right?
Mhm.
So when it is now, we see basically the walls are down, the defenses are down. We're seeing them acting like we do when it is, we're vexed. I'm sure everybody's experienced having a brawl out with a brother, sister, girlfriend, boyfriend, mother, father at some points in time. The difference between them and us is that it went viral. Not just it went viral, but everybody is privy to what's
will-
happening in their life.
I think Ricola it will go viral as an end result because of the nature of these 2 individuals. All right, and their profile, they have, all right, and what people think about them. Because if that was two normal civilians, it would not have been.
It would not have been sold
yes,
to TMZ for $250,000.
yes, it would not. It would not be of that, right? But I
We
mean,
basically got a chance to see a bit more into their quote unquote lives than we ever had before.
I don't
So
care about their
it's to-
personal life.
For a
To
lot
be
of
honest.
people, especially I don't know, people who buy into the hype, it's kind of like water, kind of like how you water a plant. A
Mhm.
plant is near death.
Mhm.
So some fans or non-fans, when it says they don't get information or they're not in celebrities' lives, they wither away. And any piece of information, any kind of gossip or any kind of drama they can get, they perk up immediately.
And it's an opportunity. I will add to that. It's an opportunity for those who are low, who see themselves very low into the media system, to get a chance to be the one who publish the video. All right. And with that one, I would like to close up the segment and bring on Chickmeister.
Chick.
So Chickmeister, you have the Hyman segment, so you know you're gonna give.
the high man segment. Yeah.
Thank you, Ricola,
That's
for
cool.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
Ricola,
for
for passing
having
through.
me.
It's been a pleasure, and we know you must big up to the RT5 and the
Check it
RT5
out.
followers. So check it out on YouTube.
Check it out.
RT5 on YouTube. We have a lot more in
Yes.
store for you guys. Keep your ears to the ground.
I
Things
find-
will be
I
coming
find
up
like
in the
I
next
made-
few
I
weeks.
find like I made the top 5 horsemen.
I think you could have.
Yes.
Yeah. There
Yes.
may be a revised version
Yes.
of the worst man to be with.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
So
Wow, Rhett. Wow, you take the cake.
thank you very much, Ricola. It's been a pleasure. You passed through. All right, you give us your opinions. I really respect your opinions. All right. So we're moving on now to Chickmeister. He's gonna give us his views,
Yes.
his thoughts.
Hello. Good night, everyone. I'm here to discuss something that I think was very important in my life, which is a book called The Four Agreements, and tonight we'll be discussing the first agreement, which is to be impeccable with your word. Right. So it's going to be a discussion here right now with everyone in the studio as to what is I going to say. Right. So the author of the book is Don Miguel Ruiz, and in the book he puts across the point that everybody in life, through our experiences, we pick up agreements or certain understandings of the world that we pick up, right? And he was saying that when you're being impeccable with your word, you're putting forward positive energy as opposed to the negative. People don't understand how much power they have in their words, right? So he also compared the mind of a human being to a fertile ground, right? Yeah, meaning that ideas that go into the mind, either they grow like trees, right? So what he was saying is with your word, which is yeah, these people here talking, and yeah, he was saying with your word, we need to be responsible, and we need to everything alright there, Cassie? Yeah. So he was saying now we need to be responsible with our word and speak positivity into people. And right now I just feel like I should wait until these Toolmeezy and Castmeister finish discussing what it is they're discussing there now. But really at the end of the day, what it is he was saying is that with our words we should speak positivity into people so that these words grow in their minds and they see themselves as better as opposed to negative or as worse, because our words have the power. They have a lot of power in them.
Considering you two are the two
Stoners.
I would
And we
say-
represent
I would say
we represent
hippies.
for them.
I would say hippies.
Yeah.
In the bunch. The two hippies.
I would accept that.
And what it was always like, I'm the negative if you would.
Mm.
How would your words impacting on me?
No, this is the funny thing. So just today I was having a discussion with Toolmeezy, and I was thinking that the first agreement would help him out a lot. Meaning that you understand, when sometimes Toolmeezy speaks and he speaks negativity and he speaks ill. You understand? And what he doesn't understand is that his words have a lot of power. And these words could work against people if it is that they don't have the fortitude or the mental fortitude to believe what it is that they see themselves as.
Like Nas, like last week.
Yeah, so you understand? So somebody would take Red's word and make it their reality as opposed to disregarding it for something that it isn't. You know, it isn't what they are.
So would you say
Mm-hmm.
Uno? Now when
Well,
yeah.
well, so far, like it, to me, it's sounding that I think Rat was going a different direction with it. I don't think it was like I don't think he was talking about himself. I think he was talking about like us trying to make him more positive. Am I right?
Yeah.
We talking about?
Three words.
Like-
all the words towards
Yeah, our
Mhm.
words trying to make him positive.
Oh,
Make
okay.
me-
My
No, well, I was just
friend-
talking about you because that was a
I'm a neck
situation
belt.
from
Okay.
where
You
to
understand? I'm a neck belt.
Nah,
So-
yeah.
Make me.
It will draw me back to my degree as a social worker.
Hey! Got
Yes.
true.
So
Everybody educated.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know she had a degree. That's good.
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
I'm doing it.
Okay.
So
Pussy.
Oh, sorry.
point is you cannot help someone if they don't want your help. Okay, so we could talk till we blue in the face. Rat will not listen. Well, Tool Measy will not listen unless he's saying, okay, yeah, I think I want to change that about myself. Okay.
Well, I understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
And people really need to choose to make themselves better. But the thing I make a point to always speak positive, and I always do that with everyone that I'm in contact with. And
Tool
that's
Measy.
tool, yeah, with tool, with tool music. Yeah. So yeah, the point really was for everybody to kind of pick up the book, reflect on the ideas presented in the book,
Book of the
because
week.
yeah, well, we could call it the book of the month because we'll also be discussing like a couple, well, the other agreements because there are 4, right? This is just the first one. So really, we just need to be a little bit more positive in what we speak because the words that we speak have a lot of power. It could bring positivity to someone's life. It could lead someone to become a better person or to think less of themselves. So make sure when you're using your words, you're responsible with them. You understand? Hitler was a man used his words and had a whole
'Cause he had a
nation
following.
against people. You understand? So be very careful with your words when you speak them. You understand? And listen to a song called The First Agreement by Dizzy Wright. That's also a very cool song that speaks of the first agreement. So yeah. That was high
First
talk.
point.
I don't think it was very high, but that was high talk. That's just normal for
Well,
me.
it was high for
You
Tool
understand? I'd be
Measy,
speaking
so-
about energy and spirit and stuff.
So, all right. But, okay, we have Chick Meister in his segment, behind that segment. Okay. So, it's I wouldn't say it's heights because people, society usually accept heights to be something negative and something that society don't pay attention to. All right. But it's very intriguing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And be sure you have something to say about what I just said.
Yes.
Or- okay, go
Uno.
ahead.
Okay, so yes, that is usually a negative thing that society thinks, right? I don't really think that. I think heights is like something that's there, but we don't really think about it that much. Like we wouldn't overanalyze it, right? We would just be like, okay, accept it, whatever. Don't worry, be happy, blah blah blah. Power of suggestion,
Mm.
stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
They wouldn't go into detail and say, okay, maybe if I tell this person, you could do this, they will be like, oh, this random person came up to me and told me I could do this, maybe I can,
Mm.
right?
Perfect example of that will be like when they said that the one man could not do it. The one man without a script, without a budget.
Perfect segue.
Perfect.
well done.
Without a budget,
No
without a
crew.
script.
The,
No
the,
crew.
the general without
The
a script.
The trailer, oh,
Yeah.
I see the trailer.
The trailer was magnificent. Yeah,
Look,
understand?
you see the trailer? Welcome to
greatest-
Finn Waller, the greatest
the-
film
uh,
that has
ever
put to
produced.
me Of that Trinidad.
Ever. There will be none better.
No, like literally.
There will be none better.
Like, yeah. Welcome
Welcome to Warlock.
to Waller.
There'll be a link.
There'll be like it'll be whole week is over.
Okay. Yeah, we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so hopefully I can get the general on because that would be a
Right, the general, remember, big up yourself, Jeffrey Allen. All right, very soon we're gonna have him on the S.
hopefully.
Right, hopefully. Okay, so it's a very. If you look at the trailer, it's Welcome to Warlock. All right, please leave out the effing. Just type in Welcome to Warlock. Okay. You're gonna find it
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
We have it posted on the Facebook
And
page
they
as well.
extend the trailer real bad too.
Yes, this is a very.
We know a lot of the lines word for word.
Like you want to see.
Don't be on that, man.
Hopefully we can get Ratty and Mushy.
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 Yes.
That would be a nice scene if they all three of them could come and we
Yeah.
have a nice little
Discussion.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll be-
And
it'll be a
success in
pleasure.
a big week.
success in our big week. That would
Ace King Diamonds.
Ace King Diamonds.
Sorry. Ace King. Yeah.
That's the yes. That's the yes.
Yeah, that's yes. Yeah.
All right, that's
That's
yes for today. All right, so tune in next week. We're gonna find out same time, same place. All right, so that's how we wrap it up. So you remember, in a time, we're gonna have the General Jeffrey Allen. Okay, come
Thank
to
you
tell him.
again, Rokolia.
Right,
Thank
I
you.
must say much thanks to RT5. You can check it out on YouTube. Right, it have a lot of views.
We also have a Facebook page,
Right.
RT5, everything, RT5. You can follow me on Twitter as well, at Lily Aiko. And you can keep up to date with what's happening with RT5 and when we're dropping videos and the like.
Right. So we have the RT5 in the building.
After tonight, I just look at us usually. That's why I studied.
All right. Well,
Okay,
good night,
bye.
everyone.
Actually, you know what? We'll go when it is. I can afford to
Oh,
go as
go
well.
on.
I'll fit my own bill. All right. All right.
Ready?
All
Bye,
right,
guys.
Good night,
Thanks very
everyone.
much. Good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Enjoy your night. Enjoy the weekend. Kiss
Subscribe.
mommy. Yeah. Subscribe.
Till next week.
Kiss mommy. Yeah.
Till next week. That's the.
Till next week,
we
yeah.
are wrapping up the S.
That's all.
Next week, Friday.
That's all.
All right. Good.